And we're back. Season 3, URC Unloaded. How was that, Shanks? Good energy? Or
That's good. It was good.
That was good.
It's like the URC advert at the moment.
That was me trying to bring
league in the world.
We'll get back to that. We are back. I'm the host. First time of the season. Season 3. Shanks, you haven't had us cancelled yet, which is, it's time for that. But I'm the host tonight. And we're back. Same crew. Wales legend, Tom Shanklin. Ireland legend, Stephen Ferris. Gents, how are you? I know we've seen each other, but give us a quick review of the last 5 months, if you can.
Been that long, is it?
It has been.
Wow. It's been good, John. It's been good. I've been able to get away on a family holiday, which I absolutely love. Love going away with 3 kids. No, I went somewhere now. It's a couple of years ago. I went somewhere horrible this year.
Nice. Camping?
No, I don't camp. But enjoyed the World Cup, mate. Enjoyed watching the World Cup. So that's been keeping us. That's been giving us our rugby fix over the last couple of months, and it's good to be back. It's great to be back.
You bet. Stevie, what about you? You've been busy. You've been very busy, actually. I've seen a lot of corporate.
Jeez, you know what it's like, John. But yeah, no, it's it's been a busy couple of months, but very enjoyable. I'm 5 kgs lighter. Tom Shanklin is 5 kgs heavier. So not as much time spent on the golf course as I would have liked. But yeah, it was a great weekend of URC rugby, and of course we've got the Rugby World Cup final this weekend. So it's just never ending with the rugby, and it's absolutely flat out as always.
Nice. John, how have you been, John? You've been busy. You've been
thanks for
you've
asking.
been an expert for all the different countries, because obviously Scotland went out early.
So I've got to be good at something else. I've been busy. Thank you, Tom. I've been busy. Yeah, mate, it's been good. I don't know what I've done for 5 months, but let's keep it professional. We're going to keep it the same as last year. We've got our first coach of the season, and we're going to start right at the top. We've got Munster head coach, the champions coach, Graham Rowntree. Graham, how are you?
Hi, lads.
How you getting on?
Good. I've had a very busy 5 months because we've had a very long pre-season. It's felt like 5 years, and it's been great. It was great to get up and running at the weekend and play a game.
Genuinely, now, what have you done for 5 months? Because that's a crazy length of pre-season to keep things fresh or interesting. Or
Good question. What have we done? No, we planned it well from the start. The key thing was having plenty of breaks, time off. So we got 3 on, 1 off, 4 on, 1 off. Worked the lads hard, and obviously everyone's a bit thin on the deck with lads away in the World Cup, and we've had to bring through some youngsters, and some have come through quicker than others. But in that regard, it's been brilliant just seeing these young men flourish.
Graham, sorry, Shanks, I was going to say, can we just go back to back? I know we have not caught up with anyone since 5 months ago. Can you give us a little review of the celebrations? We saw some of the guys coming in back into the hotel and back off the planes after the final. How was it, and how long did it go on for?
It went on for a few days. The lads dragged it on more than I could take, that's for sure. Now we had a nice exit from the hotel on the Sunday morning. I'm not sure the lads will remember it. Then we had a homecoming. On the Monday. We had 10,000 people turn up at Thomond Park for a very emotional homecoming in the sun, and it was brilliant. And I dragged the trophy out of a pub in the middle of Limerick at 11:30 that night, thinking I need to get this trophy home, safekeeping, just about keeping it together at that point. And I got a taxi home, and I was just putting the key in the door, and the taxi driver reminded me the trophy's in the boot. So much for the safekeeping of the trophy. Nearly lost day 1, lads. True story, that. But the lads cracked on for a few days after that.
Who are the lads you're wary of? Sort of, you let them go out. They're on a night out, and the following morning you're just thinking, right, I hope he's behaved, or I hope the team manager's not texting me through something that's gone on.
Well, just the Irish ones, basically, mate. No, they're good lads. They were quite sensible. Although Dermot Barron was in his full kit in the middle of Limerick for about 2 days, stopping bystanders, begging them for selfies with them. But no, we had a good time. It was a long time ago. Well, it was a long time ago.
Did you have the full squad out with you? The whole Munster squad? Did everyone travel out, or was it just the match 23?
We took 30 lads out, and the usual dignitaries, so to speak. I was very lucky. A lot of my family, apart from my younger son, were all out there. Special memories, special. Munster, we travel well. I remember the scenes. I don't know if you remember it, Shanks, turning into the stadium. The last road outside the stadium in Cape Town was like Thomond Park. There's a sea of red there. We're spoilt with our travelling support lads, but an emotional time.
I interviewed someone that had come all the way from, I don't know where it was, like Thailand, and he had to get a boat from Thailand, from an island. He had to get then a taxi, then an Uber, then a ferry. Honestly, he was mad, but the effort he'd gone to be there for that final was it was incredible.
There's loads of them stories. The people, the journeys, the routes some guys had took, because it was all very last minute, obviously. Yeah. We had a good few thousand there. We had a good night with them afterwards, put it that way.
Wayne, tell us, just go back to the week before the final. John and I commentated on the semi-final against Leinster, and genuinely, it was one of the best games of rugby I've been able to work on. It was just so tense. The emotions were so high. What was it like after getting that, go into a final, the emotions, and get your players to almost have to go again, have to back it up? Is that one of the trickiest things for a coach, or were you guaranteed that the boys would pitch up on the same note?
I knew emotionally that was a massive game for us. That obviously it's been well documented. Leinster did not have a lot of household names on the field, but we all know the strength of that club, and they had a very good team on the field. But I was really pleased. We stuck to our guns, we kept the ball on the field, we kept playing, that lead up to Crowley's drop goal. Some key things happened there in terms of us being us, keeping the ball on the field, offloading from our own goal line, accuracy. I mean, I think it was 6 offloads in that passage of play. We made more offloads than anyone had that season in that game, in a pressure game. That's us sticking to our guns. We had a 6-2 bench, and the likes of Keith Earls not played a lot of rugby, played 80 minutes for us, which is vital when you go 6-2. So that it was a big moment for us, but it was very suddenly. I think Pete said it afterwards. In fact, I'm not thinking. I know Pete said it afterwards in the dressing room. Steve, this can't be our final. We've got to go again. And it was actually 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks because Leinster had to play the final the week after. So it was 2 weeks that we had to wait for the final.
Yeah, and what a final it was. Wig, it was incredible.
Do you know what? I was worried. I was worried at the start of the game. I knew we'd prepped well, and we had some real momentum. And I'd used the expression, we were battle hardened. That was our 6th game on the road for one reason or another, and we were battle hardened as a squad. We weren't able to use a load of players, and we really tapped into that daily. We got to play the game, and the morning of the game, you saw what the pitch was like, Shanks, and the whole atmosphere. It was incredible. The music, the crowd that was in there, and I was thinking, this is a bit of a circus. This is some occasion. This is going to be hard for us. And the surface wasn't great. They had a monster truck.
That's right.
Monster truck rally a few weeks before, and I'm no groundsman, but that is not good for a pitch. So you had that to contend with, and I remember thinking in one moment, this is going to be hard. This today, we're up against it today, but we had a good start, and then we just hung on.
Yeah, and the plus was that it was easy to get out after, because all the South African fans just shut off, and it was just a corner of red, which was amazing to see and hear.
It was. That was a special occasion. We could have been further away at half time. I don't know if you remember, Gav Coombs had a try disallowed for allegedly crawling. It said his momentum was stopped, and he reached again. I thought it was a bloody good try, for honest with you. That would have changed the complexion of the second half. But they came back in the third quarter. But again, we stuck to our guns. John Hodnett scored in the 76th minute after we'd kept the ball, lost the ball for 3 minutes. But that's kind of sums up where a game's got to, just staying in the moment.
Okay, I was just going to ask, obviously, the start to the season last year, wasn't perfect, and you have goals at the start of the season, and you don't really know where you are. And we've seen that this week with the first round of games. So you think you're in a great spot, and some teams aren't, and everyone thinks they're in a great spot until they've played a game. Really, did you guys have a goal last year at the start of the season? And was it, you can say it was to win, it was to win every game, but it felt like after 3 matches, Munster had been written off.
This time last year, we were heading into round 7 and we'd lost 5 games. And we're certainly up against it, John. We hadn't established any goals as such. We had established we were going to change how we were playing with a new coaching staff. And we had to just stick to our guns. And we struggled. If I look back at it, changed quite a lot. Probably wouldn't have changed as much in hindsight. I had 3 weeks. The pre-season was pretty tight. The 3 weeks to bring in a new coaching team, embed a new way of playing, and improve the way we were training. We had to get fitter, skills under pressure. And it took time. But luckily for me, I could see what was coming through. And by the way, when we lost in early rounds, you only just beat us. And to a point, you could say we actually ran out of time in a couple of games where we were coming back. But I could see the green shoots coming through. And you just got to keep the belief.
Just something that you touched on there about being battle hardened and about being on the road. Do you think the same thing could possibly apply to South Africa in the Rugby World Cup final because of the way their games have been staged? And would you be tipping South Africa to win the Rugby World Cup final this weekend, or what's your thoughts on how the game might pan out?
That's some tangent from the URC. That's
he loves his ruggers.
We've quickly gone there. They've come through some titanic battles, haven't they, South Africa?
Yeah.
But you'd have to think that squad and the belief they've got in that squad. I don't think their energy, their determination will diminish at all. It's going to be some final, but there's been a lot spoke about them. They maybe emotionally and physically being tired, but if you're going to get your game up and get yourselves up for one more game after what you've been through, the mountains they've climbed, it's going to be this game, isn't it? Knowing a few of the personnel in that squad, that's how they'll be approaching it. Why not?
Yeah, we'll bring you back to the here and now. Start of the season, good win. I'm just looking at your first block of 7 games in the URC. I reckon you're going to do 6 out of 7, maybe 7 out of 7. I mean, do you look past that?
Who's going to beat them, Shanks? Go on.
There is Leinster away, which is undoubtedly going to be a tough game.
Sorry about
it always is. But are you just looking at the first block and seeing where you are then come December? Is that as far as you look? Or
tell me what you see when you look at me as a coach. How am I going to answer that question?
You figured it all out, and you know the next 4 years of where months. Yeah.
Next game, we've got a massive game on the road this Sunday, Treviso. That's not an easy place to go. They'll pretty much have all their Italian contingent coming back with a point to prove. We're the only team that beat them there last year. That's honestly, I can't think any further ahead than that. Then we've got the Dragons in Cork. Then we've got to go to Ulster. Game by game, managing the squad, getting better. I've got to bring lads back in from World Cup duties within the next few weeks as well. But honestly, the next game is all I think about.
Any ideas when you'll get the guys back yet?
They have a mandatory 3 weeks, John.
Is that right? 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, the minimum, the earliest I can get lads back is for round 4 up in Ulster. And then the rest of it, some guys are going to need more.
Bollocks. They're coming back for Ulster.
Some guys will need more break than others, Stevie. Pete, Tyke, Murr, they'll need more break than Craig Casey and Jeremy Lockman, Jack Crowley, for example. But no, the earliest they can come back is round 4. That's across the provinces.
We've taken up a couple of minutes extra of your time. Thanks for coming on. And genuinely, we watched it, like Stevie says, we watched the semi is one of the best games. We watch a lot of rugby, obviously, and we see some average games. That was sensational. And the final as well was superb. So we're not spoken to since then. So well done for that. And we'll look forward to keen-eyeing you this year. And hopefully we'll catch you up soon.
Cheers, lads. My pleasure.
Cheers. Look after yourself, Luke.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Yeah, always a good speaker. Always a good speaker. Like he speaks and you listen to what he's got to say. You don't sort of go on your phone and you're just concentrating on what he says. It's interesting though, and I know a lot of coaches say, "Oh, it's next game, it's next game," and you never really believe them. Like when the players talk about it, you don't. But with him, you sort of do. Maybe that is as simple as it is. Maybe it is just the next game, because I looked at their next 6 games, and they've got a good run. They've got a good run. They got a couple of nice games at home. They've got a couple of games away. It's not like, say, the Scarlets, who've got some terrible fixtures. It's a friendly start, I think, to Munster's season.
With Munster, I think.
Sorry, so you go.
So with Munster, I think he's absolutely right about just the next game, but it's the strength and conditioning, it's the backroom staff, it's the video analysis. Like they're the ones that are looking ahead to the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. So I think Munster are going to be a really tough outfit to beat this year, and cracking games last season, and they've got a good man at the helm to keep things ticking along. And like I was part of the conversations last year, like you two boys were talking about Munster and talking about Graham Rowntree, about how long he could possibly stay in the Munster job because they were under so much pressure. So you got to give him a huge amount of credit for firstly turning things around, and secondly going on to achieve a trophy which Munster haven't had in a long time. So no, it's good to see him going well.
Should we talk about that game then? Good start. It was again. I think they're going to have a target on their back this year, aren't they? And they watched that game and pretty comfortable, really. They look slick. The tries they scored. Interesting seeing Carberry back. Almost a forgotten man of Irish rugby.
Yeah, him and I've forgotten his name. Oh, my nightmare. No, sorry, Andrew Conway. Like 2 lads that have been injured. Joey Carberry's broken his hand. He's been out with an ankle injury and hasn't really got a run of games. And then, of course, Jack Crowley comes along. Then Ben Healy sort of finishes the season for Munster. And like before you know it, lads, he was second in the Irish kind of system behind Johnny Sexton, played against the All Blacks 4 or 5 years ago in that big win in Chicago, and now he finds himself, with Ben Healy gone, probably second in Munster, and it's a real credit to him to kick off the URC season with a man of the match performance. And Andrew Conway, who's had a dreadful run of injuries, he's on the wing, and brilliant to see him back. But it's just refreshing to see Munster playing with the ball in hand. And as Graham Rowntree touched on or on the interview there about the offloading game, keeping it alive. Everybody feels like they want to get the ball, but they conceded 21 points at the weekend against Sharks, and that's an area of their game they're going to want to tighten up. But no, they're a great side to watch and a superb home record. So I think they're going to be up there challenging once again.
They were good in the red zone. So inside 22, they come away with a lot of points. It was really high. I can't remember what it was, but they had a lot of entries. But every time they came away with something which was good, and discipline was good as well. I think 5 penalties they might have given away. That's incredible. And we'll speak about it in a bit, but the Dragons gave away 18. That's a massive difference. How could you give it, like anything under 10? I always think anything under 10 penalties, golden. That's what you aim for.
I was going to say on your point in the red zone, they, I think watching them last year was a little bit confusing. Like they were stuck between 2 different styles of play, and actually, I think it was the Conway try in the corner. You kind of maybe a couple of years they just keep going pick and go, pick and go, pick and go, and just they've added a bit of nuance and that slight evolution to how they attack. So I thought they were brilliant. It's interesting just going back to the Carberry stuff. It feels like he's way down the pecking order. It did certainly last year. I don't know if you guys agree with this, and I don't know Graham Rowntree that well, but he seems like the kind of bloke that he doesn't care about reputations. He's going to pick you, and if you're playing well, especially as a non-Irish person, he's going to pick the best team. He's going to pick the guys that are playing well. And it feels like the World Cup's maybe come at a good time for Carberry.
I saw the team Munster versus Hollywood Bet Sharks. Like, it's a new name. Just chuck that in there this season. If If you were going to use a brand before your name, what would you use?
That's a good question. That'll be one for next week, maybe.
Yeah.
I'd be.
Manscaped.
I'd be like M&S Tom Shanklin or something like that.
Safe.
Turkey teeth Shanklin.
Turkey hair Fez.
Yes.
It's time for that.
Oh, Hollywood bet Sharks. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Right, we'll move on then. We chatted a lot about Munster. There was obviously a lot of other games. Connacht, Ospreys. I'm going to give my opinion. And I don't want to get too down the Welsh side because they've got guys to come back. It looks like it might be a long season for the regions. Because I thought Connacht were great, but there was a bit of a lack of bite to the Ospreys, I thought.
Like, how easy were the tries from Connacht? Like, Blade scores a hat-trick before 15 minutes. The defence was really poor, making bad decisions. There just seemed to be a lot of space out there. They weren't covering the space. They weren't covering the inside. And to be fair, the try from Keelan Giles just before halftime really helped. And it was a really good one-on-one. He gets on the outside. He's electric in a little bit of space like that. But it was just non-existent defence, I thought, from the Ospreys in the first half. But they get themselves back into it. And they get themselves, I think it's 27-19 back into the game with 2 tries in their second half. And all of a sudden, momentum is with the Ospreys. And you think, well, hold on now. They might be able to offer Connacht a close game. But then straight after the second try, the first one was from Ruben Morgan-Williams. Nice ball inside, because Jack Walsh came on for the Ospreys. I thought it made quite a big difference in attack. But James Ratty then scores after. So there's an 8-point difference then. So they claw themselves back in. But then they give a stupid penalty away from holding on. Luke Morgan makes a tackle, doesn't release. Connacht kicked a touch. And then Ford, like, there's no way he should be scoring a try. Just off the back of a line out, slicing through the defence 5 metres out. And then the game was lost. It was too much scoreline for the Ospreys to come back. So disappointing from them. They produced a good second half, but mate, the damage was done in that first 40.
Do you see much different? Do you see much different? Obviously, change of coaching set up there. See any difference to how they're playing? Can you clearly see it?
Pitch as well.
Yeah.
Change of pitch.
Yeah. No, it's not.
I thought it was 4G. I thought they were going to 4G.
Yeah, well, that was there last year.
Yeah.
What was it? I was just tested. Well done, you passed.
I agree. Still. Yeah, and I realised that's an absolute bollocks. I was like, yeah, you're right, Shanks. No, you're not. That's rubbish.
Yeah, Scott Fardy's in there. Former Leinster man. Aussie. He's now in the coaching setup at Connacht. I think it's been pretty evident throughout the whole game, and you touched on how bad Ospreys defence was, but like, go through all the games, and like, I know we referenced it as well in over in Newport. Like, it did feel like a number of the games were more pre-season games, like, you know, Ulster shipping 35 points, Stormers, Lions 35, 33, you know, Leinster shipping 40 points, Munster 20 odd points. It just felt like if you had the ball, you were going to score pretty quickly. And going 27-0 up, I think maybe Connacht just mentally switched off, and that's the only thing that led the Ospreys back into the game. But totally agree with you, John. I think it's going to be a tough old season once again for the Welsh regions.
Yeah, I actually think, and I can't remember, we did our top 8 predictions, and I can't remember where I put Connacht, but I know we're one game in. I thought they looked pretty slick, so a long way to go, obviously. But we'll move on. Shanks, these were your dark horses. Glasgow, you had them down as winners.
Yeah, well, this is your team, John. So you talk us through this one. Look, what I will say is 67 tries in the opening weekend. That's incredible. It's great to see. 7 in rugby is what we want.
7 of them in this game. Obviously, Glasgow had a load of their guys back, which was, and I know here come the jokes. Well, they've had a few weeks off anyway, but you know, they brought back everyone just about. I think Jack Dempsey maybe didn't play, but they had Xander Faze and Scott Cummins. Hugh Jones played. Rory Darge played. Johnny Matthews came on. George Horn played, and there was a renaissance last year under Franco Smith. They started terribly, and then arguably were one of the form teams. They couldn't get it done towards the end of the season. You saw the wind coming out their sails a bit as the season got to the most important stages, but they look like they're here to stay. I thought they were really, really impressive, really thorough. They seem to front up a bit better. They pushed Leinster off the ball a couple of times. They had a penalty try from Maul, another driving Maul try. So pretty resounding victory. I know Leinster stayed in the game, but I thought it was pretty resounding from Glasgow.
Yeah, it was. It was. Like I think a couple of the tries were really soft, really, really soft by Leinster. Physically got dominated. Like when you go through the team and you click on some of the players and you click on the likes of Paddy McCarthy, and he doesn't even have a Leinster jersey, he's got an Irish under-20s jersey. You're like, it sort of shows that
T-shirt on
academy players. Rory Maguire as well, like Jack Boyle, who actually played really well at Loosehead, is in the academy at Leinster. There's a few issues around the props there. Obviously, Michael Alatoa's away, Porter's away, Furlong's away. They've a raft of players to welcome back, but I think it's good for the league. Like, for Glasgow to do a big number on them in the first weekend, set a bit of a tone. And I think that's why Franco Smith went pretty strong with his team selection, knowing that Leinster were obviously going to be very weak. So, yeah, it's brilliant for the URC, and hopefully we see a bit more of that.
I half agree with you, Fez, a bit. There was a lot of guys who, I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of playing, but there was also, if you go through that team, there was a spine running through it of quality. Natai, Burr, Penny, Connors, Larmer. Ruddock was on the bench. There was enough. Deegan. Yeah, there was a lot. There was enough in there for. Well, let's put it this way: we've seen maybe not as weak teams as this, but go away and win well.
Yeah, but John, at the same time, they were in the game until the last 10 minutes. It was only the last 10 minutes where it sort of got away from them. So, like, that spine of the team probably did quite well for the majority of the match to hang in there. And then, a little bit of inexperience coming, like a couple of those lads that I mentioned, one of them got yellow carded, and then there was that breakaway try. So, yeah, I think we're both probably right.
Look at that, first for everything.
True.
Let's move on. We were all together. The band got back together, and we were in glamorous Newport for round one, and we watched the Dragons take on Edinburgh. Thoughts, gents?
Firstly, properly stitched up on AI photos. For those that weren't watching the game, there's a load of AI photos going around on social media. A load of people have done it. It's like a yearbook, and it makes you look younger in different yearbook photos. And John, yours were the best. All right.
Mine didn't look that different to me.
Mine were horrific. Like
yours were bad.
I look like a serial killer or something else.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
In every single picture. In every single picture.
Turtleneck.
The turtlenecks. Have you got a cat in one of them?
Yeah.
That's his new Twitter profile pic.
Yeah, you like it, obviously.
Well, no. Head of production, Gavin Muldoon, made me do it. He said, "Can you change all your social media handles to that picture, please?" Right.
The game itself was much of the same from Dragons, do you think? Or is that me being a bit harsh?
No, I think a little bit harsh. I actually thought they looked all right off set piece. And there was a few instances where off line out and scrum, they really troubled Edinburgh. And that has been an issue for them. One is set piece attack and the other is scoring tries. And they did that in the first half. And I thought they were good. And they deserved the lead, and they had Edinburgh under a lot of pressure. There was only really a little bit of game management towards the end where Edinburgh came back at them. There was a couple of chances which the Dragons had, which they didn't take. There was a line out, 5 meters out. They catch a line out, they drive it, then they break away, and then Edinburgh counter-ruck, they lose the ball. And then Dane Blacker bursts down the right-hand side off a line out, front peel, and just gives the ball a little bit too early to Co Tompkinson. And then that results in Angus O'Brien running the ball back when he didn't need to. They were a point up. They turn the ball over, and then Edinburgh nearly go all the way and come away with 3 points. So they had their chances. And I think Di Flanagan will take the positives from that. You have to. But there was instances in that game where I was quite impressed with their attack, but you can't just do it for 40 minutes.
Yeah, I know Dye, he was coach at Scarlets, and Steph Hughes, and I kind of root for them. I want them to do well, but we saw this a lot last year, like some sparks and never really managing to get through it. But I thought like Griffiths was class. I like that combination in midfield, and like you spoke about, there's lots of good bits in there, but it just doesn't quite. It's just how are they going to take that next step? But I thought from Edinburgh point of view, Healy. First game straight in there, and I thought he was real good.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, really good. Composed, wasn't he?
Yeah, real tight.
So Edinburgh had to change it up. You know, they had to 2 or 3 phases kick. You know, we used to see Edinburgh playing quite wide, aren't we? But they didn't play. They realised that early doors, and then that's why they've got someone like Ben Healy in just to adapt during the game, and he was good.
Yeah,
got him out of trouble.
Got him out of trouble. Yeah, that's it. Well, nice win for Edinburgh to start the season. We've actually skipped past, and this is probably why Stevie's stayed so happy. We skipped past the Zebre Ulster game. Now, we watched that one before, and far from convincing, Stevie.
Yeah, it was. Excuse me, John. Really unconvincing from Ulster, but it just felt like the boys were it was a bit of a head out for them, and like again, that's just that pre-season friendly feeling. Zebre were just anytime they had the ball in attack with possession, they looked like they were going to run in and score. But at the same time, anytime Ulster had possession and in any sort of territory, they looked like they were going to score. Mikey Lowry obviously played on the wing, looked a little bit out of his depth out there. Defensively, we know how good he is with ball in hand, but yeah, it's just one of those performances. I think Dan McFarlane will be like, thank the Lord we got out of there with the bonus point win. You know, you talk about drawing a line in the sand and moving forward. I'm not sure it's at that stage, but they will take a lot out of that game, especially defensively, because it just wasn't good enough. And if they had came up against a better team on Saturday afternoon, like they would have lost the game. So yeah, the other concern is the prop situation. I think it was French who was yellow carded towards the end of the game. Really, I wasn't sure at the time. You two boys might be able to enlighten me, but I'm assuming the tight head prop who started the game was injured, and that's why he couldn't come on to replace French. So then they just decided to go to a tap and go and not bother even going to their driving line out. So I don't think it was made clear on the commentary, or I maybe missed it. But yeah, that's also a huge concern. I know we chatted about a pre-match with the loss of Milicinovic, Rory Sutherland, Jeffrey Tamanga Allen, and Marty Moore still out injured. Yeah, lots of quality missing in the front row. So that's something to keep an eye out on over the next couple of weeks.
What about the set piece, Stephen? The scrum that struggled a lot, and you got the Bulls.
Yeah,
this weekend.
Yeah, Bulls look good. Bulls look really, really good, especially at the set piece. I know they scored a hell of a lot of tries, but they look very dominant and give the Scarlets a hard time. And yeah, they've a half decent bench to bring on as well. So it's a Sunday game in Belfast on the new Shanks, the new 4G pitch in Belfast. So
oh, that's right. That's right. It was also about the new pitch. I couldn't remember. I knew it was someone.
But you know, like you would expect. What's your thoughts, Shanks? You'd expect the Bulls to bring a similar, if not the same team that beat the Scarlets.
You'd imagine so, because they were really good. They were just so physically dominant. You could just see every carry they made, they got over the gain line, and then that just has a massive knock-on effect. And it's a horrible start for the Scarlets. There's no way you can say it's not. You know, you've got 2 games away from home. You've got the Bulls and the Stormers, and the whole league is about momentum and the first block of games. And that was a downfall last year, was it didn't start big, and it took till January until they found a bit of form. And this year, it's a tough start. I think they'll be gutted they didn't get a bonus point try, because I think if you can come away with any points when you hit these big teams like the Bulls, the Stormers, even the Sharks, and if you can come away with something, whether it's 1 point, whether it's 2 points, or a win, even better. If you can come away with something, then you're happy. And they've got to try and now come away with something against the Stormers, because that's another tough ask for them. And to be fair, they got themselves back into it, the Scarlets, but often the case when you're so heavily up, you naturally switch off. Unless there's a stat, or unless there's a reason for you to put 70 or 80 points on the team. It means like you qualify for, or you win the league, or something like that. You're always going to switch off, especially in this situation. And I felt sorry for the Scarlets, but Bulls were just relentless.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Shanks, what's the story? Jared Payne's now officially the defence coach of the Scarlets. Is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, because there hasn't been much about it in the media. It kind of went a little bit under the radar, and then all of a sudden they get pumped by 60 odd points, and his name still wasn't really brought up.
What are you trying to say, Steve? It's his fault.
Well, somebody has to take the flak.
It's not
the player's fault, John. You know that. It's never the player's fault.
I watched that game and I thought that it was. I think we all thought Scarlets would do better, and I don't want to be too hard.
Yeah,
because it's game one, and if you're going to choose, I think that's probably the hardest game one of the season, where you've not had a match. It looked hot. You heard someone asking the ref after about 28 minutes, how long till half time? So boys are gasping at altitude, and it was 28-0 after 28 minutes. Like, game's done, boys. Like, that game is done and dusted. And the Bulls looked physical. They looked organised. They dropped off a bit last year, so maybe coming on under the radar a bit this year. But I think, the guys coming back for Scarlets, like Gareth Davis, who's come back and asserted himself as well as number one. Fafita coming back. We're going to see Ken Owens, Ryan Elias. There's a load of guys that they just can't afford to miss those guys. Really, they don't have the depth in that squad anymore.
No, it'd be interesting to see how Johan Lloyd goes for them at 10.
Yeah,
obviously there's Sam Costello. He'll come back in as well, but he's been probably the most high profile signing this year. Johnny Williams as well at 12, who didn't really get much of a shot during the World Cup. But I'm interested to see how Johan Lloyd does. Big signing from Bristol. Looked really good at Bristol. Learned his trade there. Learned it like with Semi Ranrandra, players like that. So he's from good stock. So he's got a shot now for a couple of games at the 10 jersey. He's versatile. He can play anywhere. I like watching him play, but it's tough for him with a pack going backwards. But he has some nice touches.
Semi's not his dad, right? He said he's going.
Was he not? Yeah. Is he not? Is he not? He was trained well, Mickey and Rocky. Mickey and Rocky.
A good paddock is maybe what you could say. We'll go on to Cardiff, Benetton, and Shanks. Your thoughts?
Another good half by a Welsh team. We've sort of had three good halves from the Ospreys, Dragons, and Cardiff. And Cardiff started really well. The pack looked good. The set piece line out especially looked good. And that's initially where they scored their first try. Good line out drive. Liam Belcher breaks off, goes over. Second try then, they get another penalty. It's a line out. And Rhys Carre goes over. They had a lot of turnovers in the game, which you expect because they spend a lot of time doing that. It's always been the case. But it was, for me, it was the try just after Bevan scores. And it's a really good hit by Ray Lilo in the midfield. Really aggressive hit, and Bevan ends up getting on the corner of it, in the corner. But then after that, there's a penalty given away. I'm not sure what the penalty was for, but they give a penalty away, and it just allows Benetton back into the game. Because at the moment, they were 19-3 up. You think Tinas De Beer, the new signing at 10, if he gets a kick, which he misses, they could have been 22-3 up. But they end up Benetton scoring just before half-time, which sort of takes a bit of the sting out of Cardiff. And the cushion really of the lead they had. And then you've got Albanose who catches the ball. You can't catch the ball from a box kick cleanly and run in. There should be no way you can do that. Yeah. He does it. They just switch off momentarily. It's like as a 15, if you kick and chase the ball, someone's going to have to cover. Similarly with that, you've got to be thinking ahead. You think about, an attack, is someone going to make a break? Get on his shoulder. In defense as well, you've got to think like that. Is he going to make it? Is he going to miss a tackle? I have to cover. But the worst thing was Kieran
card.
Parker red card. Yeah, it was. I don't know what you bought, Stevie. Have you seen? I haven't seen a worse red for a while.
That's the worst I've seen in a long time.
I thought you were going to say the worst thing was Cardiff shirts that they were wearing. They're so bad. They're so bad.
I didn't even notice them.
No.
Horrendous. Horrific.
Well, that's not the answer Shanks was hoping for. I think he was talking about the red card. I think that's what he was going for. The hit by Kieran Parker on Simone Ferrari was, and I think we see so much during the World Cup about dangerous tackles, and so many of them they're not great, some of them, but they're not dangerous. And that was, it's unfortunate because it was debut, wasn't it? I think for Cardiff, young lad, but it was.
Oh yeah, he's 28 years old, mate.
It was it's just like what he's come off the bench, and he's coming from a mile away and tried to light this guy, and he just got it so wrong. And I'm actually not, because I'm hoping there's a big ban. I'm interested to see what kind of ban that gets, because it feels like this could be a, round one. Let's see what comes of
Tom
this.
If Tom Curry got 2 weeks for his tackle in Argentina, which I think was wrong, and I think then I think they messed up, and then all the other red cards that we've had during the World Cup was aligned with that, and maybe shouldn't have, because we haven't seen any red cards from the quarters, semis, and probably went to the final.
No.
But yeah, I think it'll be a big ban. Stevie, what are you saying?
I'm gonna say it's like 10 weeks, something like that. It has to be. It has to be, because it's not a 2 or 3 week ban like Tom Curry's, like the Portuguese guy. It's just, there has to be something laid down, and Ronaldo. So we'll wait and see what comes of it. But here, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, watch that space. Last one then, lads. Lions 33, Stormers 35. Stormers, I think, are still going to be right in the mix. Obviously, a load of guys coming back. They've lost a few, but
John, who's this scoring now? Who's this guy scoring? Because it's brilliant bit of skill.
I can't even see because I'm on dual screen here.
Okay, should I tell you who it is? It's Sasha Feinberg in Gonazulu.
That's a great
name. Sasha Feinberg in Gonazulu.
And for those that wondering how he scored it, the ball basically goes through and he ends up touching it with his knee, with his foot twice. It's a bit like Simon Zebre against Wales, but better. But he looks like he could be the next big thing for South Africa, possibly, because there's a lot of good players coming through. You think of the players that are in this league that didn't make the starting 15 for South Africa, like Kane and Moody.
Yeah,
he's brilliant. He's not going to look in at the moment, but it was a great game. It was a really good game, as were all of them. And I know people will say, well, defense was crap and, you shouldn't be letting tries through like that. But then what do you want? Do you want to see 9-3 games? Or do you want to see whatever it was? What was the score? 35 something. I don't know.
35, 33, yeah.
30. Yeah. That's what you want to see. You want to see it. And for that to happen, there has to be some defensive errors. So you can't have it both ways, is my point.
Great game of rugby. The big guy, Frankie Horn, Morny van den Berg, scored a couple of tries at the end for the Lions. But again, similar to the Connacht game, it felt like it was dead and buried. And if it had went on for another 20 minutes, I don't think the Lions would have come back and won the game. The Stormers would have just knocked it up a level.
This is what I don't agree with. Now, Zas went for an intercept at the end, and it was a genuine intercept. So it wasn't a penalty, but he knocks it on, and you're thinking, that's unfair for the Lions because the game was over then. I'm just wondering whether you should be able to stop the game when the opposition knocked the ball on, whether it's accidental or not.
That could be
it ruined their attack.
This could be.
They could have gone around the outside. Yeah.
Should you have to leave it, Shanks? If you knock the ball on, should you have to leave it so the other side, instead of just diving on it and killing it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously there's an advantage that comes from it then.
Yeah, I just felt sorry for the Lions. The game ended that way.
Yeah.
There we are.
Trying to create new rules on week 1. There we go.
I think that would get rid of I would keep the pace of play up too. Maybe cancel out a few scrums.
But how do you know? There's a lot of calls, a lot of knock-ons. People don't know who's knocked the ball on. How do you referee that, Steve? Do you know when you go out from a kick and like, both teams have no idea where the ball's gone? Only the referee knows.
Yeah,
found a flaw.
Yeah,
I like it.
Scrap
that crap idea.
Scrap that.
I just broke my chair. We're good. Week 1, this shouldn't be. It was a great week of rugby, so I'm hoping we're not going too dark. Week 1, and I don't think it's going to be referees, which was normally our rant every week. Rants of the week, anyone? Tom, give us a start.
You two turning up like bin men at Rodney Parade, first game of the season. What you had on was just you had a hoodie on. You had a hoodie on underneath, like
Shanks. Your shirt barely fitted you. The buttons are about to pop.
Well, I wore a shirt.
That is a fair point, Barclay. That is a fair point. You need to go back out and get some more shopping done, Shanks. That shirt was.
You had the stretch
under serious pressure.
Shirt on, which was about to go.
I wish my relationship was as strong as those buttons. No, but you honestly, lads, you turned up like you're going up Kilimanjaro with your coats on. It was
freezing.
It was rag-ass United, honestly. Like
rag-ass. That's your rant, is it?
Yeah.
I've won. There wasn't good coffee in Rodney Parade. So if anybody is watching this and you own a coffee shop or you have a coffee truck, get into Rodney Parade because there was nothing there.
You snubbed me, you coffee snob.
Yeah. Did you pay for it?
Yeah, £6 something.
Yeah. John went to the toilet, didn't he? John went to the toilet.
One. Absolute dishwater getting served up. No chance. I don't have one. I'm keeping it positive this year, and I just thought it was a great start. So that's me, guys.
Good work, John.
We'll zip on. This is normally the bit where we take some internet questions, but we found out pre-show we're going to do something a bit different, and it's last man standing, and we're assured this is going to be great fun. And Ben, the producer, has gone to a lot of effort. So here we go. Oh, this is actually not too bad, Ben. Well done. Name the South African matchday squad from the 1995 World Cup final. I'll go first. Osderan.
Pinar.
Stransky.
Oh, no. James Little.
Oh! Stefan Terblanche.
No way.
Oh, you win, Shanks.
You know he's still got
Joubert, 15.
Yeah. You were alive, Shanks. You watched it.
Chester Williams. Did you say Chester Williams?
Hold on. Mark Andrews. Okay. Venter.
Andre Venter.
Percy Montgomery.
Juice van der Westhuizen.
John, you and I were like 9-10 years of age. Like I wasn't even playing. I didn't even look at a rugby ball back then.
Did we say Gary Teichmann?
Gary Teichmann. Was he playing?
You're right. Right.
Oh, I won it anyway.
You won.
Well done.
Yeah, Ben, that wasn't bad actually. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. We'll give that. I'd give that a solid 4.5 out of 10. Next week, plenty of room for improvement. Quite quickly, let's really zip through the next week's games. Some big ones in there. Ospreys, Zebre. Who are you going for?
I'm going for the Ospreys. I think the Welsh players will be back, which will make quite a big difference. Even though I don't think Zebre have got too many internationals come back. Even though they actually look really good at the weekend. I was really impressed. They managed to keep ball for large periods, which is something they haven't been able to do, and score a lot of tries. It's just, I think the Ospreys will be too strong. It's one thing winning at home, but it's really difficult to win away from home. And they didn't do either.
That's what I was going to say. Point well made. So we're going. I think we're all going Ospreys on this one.
Yeah.
Connacht, Glasgow. I think this is going to split us.
Glasgow.
Stevie, I know who you're going for.
Glasgow have a good record there.
Yeah, they do actually.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Glasgow.
Tom?
Yeah, Glasgow.
Yeah, I'm going Glasgow as well. I think they've got their guys for another week, so I'm going Glasgow. Stormers Scarlets at Stormers. Stormers all day for me.
Yeah.
Leinster Sharks.
Leinster, it's at home. RDS.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get Ben. We've got to get a leaderboard here. We're going to see who gets the most predictions right, but we don't often split them. Actually, to be fair, Edinburgh versus the Lions in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
We're agreeing on everyone here.
Yeah.
Benetton Munster in Benetton.
This will be tough. I reckon this is going to be a big game.
I'm going Benetton. Benetton look quite decent, and it's hard over there.
I'm going Munster because Graham Rowntree still.
Yeah, I'm going Munster.
Yeah, so I'm going Munster as well. Sorry. Yeah, that's probably a tight one. Dragons Cardiff. Dragons.
Come on, the Dragoons.
Yeah. Dragons. Yeah.
Dragons, come on.
There wasn't enough of Cardiff for me to warrant picking them. So I'd say there seem to be more positives from the Dragons from the game I watched. So I'll go Dragons.
Okay. So Dragons. Ulster Bulls.
This is an interesting one. Sunday. There is never a game played in Northern Ireland on a Sunday. The DUP will be up in arms. The local government will be up in arms. Supporters won't be happy. You'll probably only have Protestants turning up because all the Catholics will be at Mass. Like this could be
a doctor.
This could be This could be a tough day for Ulster. Like and with the way the Bulls played at the weekend, Ulster have to be better. They have to be better. They've got a really good home record. I have to just go with Ulster, but I think it's going to be a fright.
Shanks?
Bulls.
I'm saying Bulls as well. Bulls.
It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun, guys. It's not personal.
They're not preferences. They're just predictions. Remember that, guys.
Yep.
Just remember that.
Ask me who I prefer, Ulster or the Bulls.
Yeah, go on. Who do you prefer?
The Bulls.
There you go. That's preference. Right, gents. That's week 1 done and dusted.
Brilliant.
Strong start. And remember, we'll see you next week, and you can watch all the action, all the games on Viaplay. We'll see you next week.